What's good? What's good? Your boy back with another one. We got a reaction video coming up with your boy Kevin Samuels, man. We're gonna get right into it. Ain't much to hold up on. Y'all know who he is. Y'all call him Godfather, call him call him Uncles, bro. Man, he come like he like an older brother, but the older brother of wisdom. I guess that's what you call any uncle. Like you look at him like almost like a peer, because it's like you don't never really look to your uncle to be like just straight up like what do you call reprimanding you or whatever the hell you want to call it, like putting you on punishment. It's more of a like a big brother, like guide, mentor, but also real tough on you, hard on you in a sense, but not in the sense where you're gonna like necessarily put you in punishment, but when you put that wisdom on it as well as being like an older brother type figure, bro. Kevin saying you kind of match that. Especially when he been talking to men like and telling them what they need to do with their own self. Like he give it to you straight up. He ain't gonna sugarcoat shit. But we gonna excuse me, we're gonna get right into it. Are these men on my level?
And how old are you?
20.
20. All right. The question tonight is your price too high?
No. My price is way too low.
Why you
I
say
pay
that?
for I pay for everything, vacations out the country, car notes. I pay for everything.
I feel like a lot of people when they come on these shows, like they're trying to prove to themselves why they feel valuable. Now they don't really feel it, but they got to try to convince the world or convince Kevin that they feel this way. But when you start to go down the list and breaking things down, you can start to see how a lot of that stuff be kind of a facade. Like for instance, when he first asked that question, "Is your value too low?" She's coming from the standpoint: if my value, if my value's too high, that means something bad about myself. So I have to maintain a facade that it needs to stay high. But a lot of that's due to undersight, because having a value too high can be leading to an inflated mind or irrational or someone that's thinking like in a fantasy world. So when you saying when you have a balanced out level, you actually look more sane. But a lot of people haven't been taught that, so they got to maintain this facade of wanting big things, because if they want these big things, I guess people should think big of them. But without having those things, people just gonna look at you at what you are and face value. So I think a lot of people are trying to prove to the world, prove to others by saying, um, "Yeah, this is how I want to be, or this is what I expect." So yeah, I should be looked at as a person of quality or something. That's just not how quality is measured.
I'm in college. My daddy makes six figures. I'm
Okay,
still
so let me
grasping.
stop you right here. Let me stop you right here. Where are you getting this money?
My daddy.
So your daddy pays for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why are you allowing your dad to pay for you?
He
not
doesn't
paying
know.
for a man?
He doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't know. Basically, like, I get an allowance every week.
Okay.
And these men, they just not to my standards. So it's like, okay, you're not gonna be there. I'm gonna make you be there.
Wait, whoa. What do you mean? What do you mean they're not to your standard? What does that mean?
I'm in college. I go to Penn State. They not in college. They on the block. I live in a high-rise apartment with
Hold
a
on.
rooftop.
Time out. I get it. I get it. You got stuff.
And then so my biggest problem with her, the men are obviously the men that she's after, because there's plenty of suitable men that's at college, but the problem is most of them college dudes might not want her because she's overweight. So she's sticking to people that's gonna probably look at her as like maybe a come up, or maybe look at her as like, oh, this is a little smart girl I got from school. They're not gonna really take her too much serious, but that's a better option than trying to attract a peer of your level, of your caliber, of your prestige in class. Let's say somebody that's in school or whatever that's living in the high rise. It's gonna be harder to attract a dude that's in that same position as you. So that's what makes it kind of hard for her. But like but the problem with her is like she can't get those dudes, and now she's gonna say all dudes ain't shit, because you can't get them dudes because of your self problems of being out of shape and stuff. But the dudes that treat you like shit that you are fucking with, you gonna also like lump them into them. But that's when you already know them niggas not of normal caliber. But you can't fuck with. I mean, you can't fuck with the other men, so you have no choice but to fuck with them. But now all men gonna be ain't shit because half of the problem is you, and the other half is some shitty men that you picking. Which is, I mean, most of it is all you. But it's just you see how women put themselves in these predicaments to leading up to being like how all men ain't shit. Because half of it is they don't want to take accountability on the men that they want and can't get. It's like it's certain things that whether it's your attitude, whether it's your lack of wanting to be a submissive person, always needing to be right, or maybe just your weight. That's why you can't get the top echelon men. And then when you gotta sift through the men of shitty men, which is mean that's your fault because you haven't raised up your value as much as possible. So that's the pool you gotta select from. Now you kind of upset, but I mean there's plenty of other men that you could be choosing from. You just haven't done the right things. You're stuck with that pool essentially. But yeah, that's how you end up getting the all men ain't shit. But it's like nah, it's not. It's far from that.
We all that in the bag of chips. Got it. But what I'm trying to understand is a father who can provide an income for his daughter to have a weekly allowance. Mm-hmm. You go to one of the best colleges in the country. Why the French toast are you dealing with niggas on the block?
It's where I grew up.
I don't care.
How is that where you grew up if your father makes six figures? He ain't just start doing that in like 1 to 2 years. To make six figures, you had to be in school. You had to have certain certificates or certifications, degrees to be making six figures. Like most likely you've been working for that. I'm pretty sure that she's only like 20. Yeah, I'm sure at least half of her life hasn't been in the hood. I'll give it maybe his first 10 years he was getting on his grind and stuff like that, but you ain't been there your whole life. And if you know better, you should do better. So if you've seen better quality men, if you've seen better quality of living, even if it was for 5 years, you should see better and do better. Like, oh, I can't let that hood go shit. That's more psychological problems that I think that it don't really got to do with anything being in the hood. I think that's just the image that we portray. Well, a lot of our entertainment people portray that hood mentality, so I think a lot of our young people pick that up and thinking that's what being black is. Whenever you see a woman get into her little bag, they always go into whenever a woman gets into some type of confrontation, usually they resort to the methods of love and hip hop. They don't resort to being submissive or being just understanding the situation and saying, I don't even need to be in this argument. It's nothing I'm going to win in this argument. I'm just going to leave because I don't even need to put my energy and my presence into this type of environment. And if it is something that you can handle and talk out, there's no need to raise your voice. There's no need to cut or like try to like belittle people because like I said, that's doing nothing. But a lot of women don't give a fuck about that and they go to that love in Hollywood approach. And then same with men. We get a lot of emotional men that operate in that same mentality. And I don't think that has to do with anything in the hood because when you go to jail, when you're in the hood, there's been politics, and there always have been politics. Over time, you can say those get lost in things in translation, but even when you talk to OGs and stuff like that, it's not these all-out savages that's like, oh yeah, niggas gotta die, niggas gotta get, like, bro, things can get hashed out civilly, or everything is not life or death in the hood. Everything is not life or death in jail. Now, it does get to that very quickly when you do cross those lines, but there are times where things have to be set down and talked about because, I mean, if these two things keep clashing, eventually there's going to be a war that neither side is benefiting, and the people at the top of these places be knowing these things like that. Obviously, like I say, every hood ain't got OGs and all this stuff, but bro, everything is not a fight, even in the hood. Like, I'm sorry, but that's the life that they like to portray, and it's really a facade.
What does that mean? That's where you grew up. Well, then leave Penn State and carry your ass back to the block. Get off your daddy's payroll and then go live in Section 8. How about that?
I don't want to.
Of course, I can't want you to. Young lady, it's time to grow up. You sound spoiled.
That's why I need help. That's why I need help.
No, but what you need to stop doing is stop talking like you got something. You got nothing in this world, young lady. Your father. What high income skills do you have?
I'm certified. I'm a certified computer programmer. I'm certified in 5 different coding languages.
Okay, then
I'm concerned with AT&T.
Okay. That's the case. Who's paying for college?
My father.
Since you have these high income skills, why don't you pay for it yourself?
I haven't graduated yet.
So we're gonna do this way.
Okay.
Even I don't try to be overly moral, but this is this is wrong. You're allowing your father to work to put himself into a position where you're deceiving, you're keeping this from your father because it's wrong.
Right.
So if you're gonna do wrong, you should at least pay for your own wrong.
Okay.
I think you hear about how these men ain't on your level.
Okay.
And all the other stuff when you're openly bypassing the guys on the university campus to go pick dudes on the block because that's what your mindset is.
Here's the thing. I've tried the whole dating dudes on my level in college thing.
What is your
They're narcissists. They're narcissists.
No, man. See, so many young ladies, man. Where's your mom?
My mom's an accountant. She loves you.
I said, where's your mom? But you call somebody a narcissist. There are 3 components to being a narcissist.
Okay.
You in Penn State, I expect you to call things what they are.
Okay.
Honestly, it doesn't sound to me like you are mentally mature enough to be dating anyone.
So, here's my thing. I've been in a relationship now since July. So what? That's going on 9 months now. I haven't had this problem. The problem I have now is that I don't have the problem with spending money on him because he's got his own. But the problem I have now is I'm in college. I'm getting ready to graduate from Penn State.
A lot of people shouldn't be dating at this age. It's a lot of self-discovery and a lot of self-work that needs to be done, whether you grew up in a 2-parent home or not. See, clearly, that's the thing. We talk about people that grow up in 1-parent home and the challenges and struggles and traumas and all these things that we have or supposedly have. She grew up in a 2-parent home and she's not thinking too much better than anybody because what that really shows is who's really teaching the kids. Our educational system, the society peer pressures, and media. So most kids, even if they grew up in 1-parent home or 2-parent home, has the same type of thoughts. For me, like Kevin said, she never really got to the answer. What is your value when you're at college? You have a lot of potential value, but to think that you're super higher than someone else at that level, I mean, maybe, but it's not like you're leaps and bounds of everyone because everyone's at the same school. Everyone at that level potentially has the chance to do greater things. So yeah, there's some people that you can see oh, this person don't go to class. That's not the caliber of people I'm trying to be around. This person goes out every night when we should be studying. Obviously, those are people that you wouldn't want to hang around in college. But besides that, it's not too many other levels where I could be oh, this person is just so much better than them. Unless you got some major connections already, which is your parents are rich and you already know you about to go work for this Fortune 500 company. Then you should be moving a little different. Or you're an athlete and your stock value is already top 3 rounds in the draft. Yeah, you should be moving a little different. Shouldn't just be sleeping on every type of girl and stuff like that. Because you should be looking for a different quality now because you're about to move up. So there are special circumstances, but even when I said the 2 circumstances I gave, there's a 1% chance, a 3% chance that you make it to the NFL. You got to be top talent and have top connections. Fortune 500. You got to have a bloodline and literally connections. So these are rare situations. The average student in college, I mean, they're on the same level for the most part. So this inflated value and thinking, a lot of women already put themselves on a pedestal at an early age, and I think that leads to inflated mind state, would lead to bad decisions over through a long term, and that's how people end up getting hurt and fucked up because they be reaching for things that's really unreasonable for them. So that now they have high expectations and goals, and sometimes they never lower them. And this is where you get these men ain't on my level. Well, how do you think your level is? And then even then, when you say you have that high of a level, where are those results? So it's a lot of just chaotic things going on that don't even match, but yet you still keep the same mentality. So it's almost like these people are moving out of insanity. You have a mind state and a philosophy. Your results don't match that philosophy, but you don't blame the philosophy. You just blame the lack of options and that's why it's leading to those results. And that it's logically that makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense because at the end of the day, if you got a good philosophy, you're gonna see decent results. Now, if you got a limited pool, obviously that could affect things, but regardless, you're gonna see better results than someone that don't have a good philosophy, still using that limited pool. So that's the thing. Like that's like I don't know. I don't want to get too like breaking it down. Like if you put this right here, let's find the X of the solution and shit like that. But you can start to do that with some of these people problems because you see it. Like I said, they have a philosophy. They blame they blame the market basically and not the philosophy. And if we being real, it's not the market. There's plenty enough options out there, but for them to make them feel good about themselves and them not to take accountability, they got to blame the outside. And like I said, that comes from a part of their philosophy as well because they pedestalize themselves, idolize themselves. Not taking accountability is a part of that philosophy because that's how you can even get to that inflated mind state over time. So yeah, it all starts from the philosophy that they've been programmed to have. And like I said, I believe that comes from media and this feminist movement that's been around for a good majority of our lives.
All right, he not in school. He works a minimum wage job, which is fine because I don't judge. But
she said he had money, his own money, so she don't mind spending. Like I said, she says these people not on her level, but you dating a dude that's making minimum wage money. Like something's clearly missing with what's going on, and obviously she don't have those type of options because of either personality problems or size.
I want a life with him, and I don't know what to do because I already know
This is what you do. This is what you do.
Why would you? How do you even know you want to have a life with this person? You've been with them for 6 months. You probably had sex with the person. Like this is the problem when they say that women have to be guided. Emotional men need guidance as well, but you get in your feelings and now you think you want a life with this dude, like that's dry. That's dry. You may have a baby with him pretty soon because it's dry. Like that's what you think and you and your emotions and your feelings, but he works a minimum wage job. You probably just met this dude. You don't really know this person. He don't know himself. Like what is there to even love or like about somebody that young? It's a lust thing most likely. So when we thinking about it like that, like it's very dangerous when you having this type of mindset as well. Like, oh, I wanna be with this person. It's like they live in a fantasy world because this is a weird. Come on now, you trying to get all the shine, huh? Get out of here.
You want to be rebellious?
It's weird.
You allow me to send your father this video tape. This video. You let your father watch this video. And let your mother watch this video. And let them cut you off. You want to be grown? Be grown. You think you know better? Do better with your 5 certifications and all this other stuff. Let's see how that really works. Let's see if love comes.
And he's not in school making minimum wage. Like I was just talking about you saying you on a certain level of everybody in college having the same potential. That person wouldn't even have the same potential as you. So why would you date him? Oh, he's not a narcissist. He don't know himself. He don't have confidence probably. So you can probably tell him what to do because you can give him money. That's what that goes into. Because she can't be with a man that's probably that has wants and needs that need to be met. Because she's already not meeting him probably with her size and attitude. So she got to date a dude that don't have shit so she can baby him and mother him and get her way so she can basically be pedestalized and idolized like she want. But the problem with that is she's like, oh, I'm always spending money. My value should be higher, but that's a joke. Because you only can say that to men that's of lesser value, that's minimum wage, don't got really shit going for them. He could be possibly looking at you like a meal ticket and don't want to fuck it up, so you can treat him any type of way. Because he knows you may be his best option to being successful. At this point, because this man don't know himself. I'm just saying, he could probably have bigger goals, but at working 725, like that's tough. That's tough. Like, so, and he might be in a small town as well. If you're in a school town, like that's probably a small town as well. So not many options out there anyway. So there's many different dynamics that I'm seeing that could be playing out right there. Or why she even chooses a man that is not at school and is working a minimum wage job. Like, it's too tough being with a man that's on his shit, that has needs and other options that you have to compete with, and possibly bring the best out of you. Because if you got to compete with these women, you got to at least have a better attitude. You got to at least be in somewhat better, decent shape. And competition brings brings out the best in people sometimes. I'm not gonna say every single time like, oh my God, I should be competing when I've been with this person for 3-4 years. Like, you probably should be competing in the sense of I say this a personal thing. Like, I just want to be better. Like, every day, if every day I'm on this earth, every day I'm in a relationship, whether it's a business relationship or a personal relationship or friendship relationship, I'm trying to be better friend. I'm trying to be a better husband. I'm trying to be a better father. I'm trying to be a better business partner. So that's where I would be trying to be competitive. Maybe you're not looking out and competing with others, but you always competing with yourself, which is the best version anyways. So being competitive is always a good thing. It's just how you choosing to compete in it. As long as it's not a toxic competitive spirit, I feel like it's a good thing to do or have. So, but when you're dating, you definitely have to compete with other women. When men are dating, you definitely have to compete with other men. You damn sure got to compete with other men. It's less likely that a woman would have to compete with other women because a man at that young, at that age, unless you're trying to get the most popular dude, he's not gonna have that many options. He might have 1 or 2 options. A girl that's beautiful or decent and college, she has a shitload of options. So for a man to actually get a girl in college is way fucking harder. Way fucking harder. But to even maintain a decent relationship in college can be pretty hard anyways, because the options are abundant. I can say on both sides, but it's outnumbering. It's definitely on the woman's side. So the men definitely have to compete. So when men tell women they got to compete and y'all get up in arms and shit, that's a part of y'all being pedestalized and idolized and thinking y'all shit don't stink and thinking, oh, you the baddest bitch out here. Like, nah, you're going to have to compete, especially when you want men with options. Like she said, men on her level got options. It's tougher for her to compete with them or try to get that man to be stable with her. So she rather go down lower so she can kind of feel a little bit better about herself. But honestly, that's just the pedestalized nature of her coming out of the feminine shit. But a woman true nature want to be taken care of, and you can't feel stable and comfortable with a man making $725 when you about to be possibly working as a programmer. Like, that's gonna be a joke over long term. So it's like that's not really leading to a real happiness. And she's finding a band-aid to basically bitch. Did it stop recording? Oh, can I get this shit deleted? Hold on. That'll give me a little space. Give me a little space. Hold on. All these are uploaded. My bad, y'all. We're still recording though. But yeah, so she basically finding a patch to make herself like feel better about it's a short-term answer. Or it's a short-term solution. Instead of working on herself, being the best woman she could be, being in shape, being more reasonable as far as the attitude wise, that'll lead to you having better options and fitting in with your peers as far as males. But she'd rather take the easy way out and just find someone that's not on that level. And like I said, that short-term solution is going to lead to her making that man feel miserable and her belittling him because like that's a slippery slope when a woman chooses that path. Instead of bettering herself, and like that's when they say they settle for less. It's not necessarily the man's fault. It's your fault because you didn't do the work to put in. So now you don't have as many options as you could have. So you can't blame men. That's more on you. So, but it is what it is. It's more.
Covers all at minimum wage. How about that? I mean, what you want me to tell you? Love conquers all? I don't believe that. I believe that this is a damn shame that mothers and fathers have put themselves, black mothers and fathers have put themselves in a position to put their daughter in one of the best schools in the country, and this is the outcome?
Best schools in the country.
And you know better.
We talking about Penn State, bro. And look how she thinking like a regular ass hood girl. Or a regular, just like she's like, we talk about, we got women that's a high class and they got these good jobs, doctors and all this shit, but they still acting like baby mamas from the hood. The mentalities be the same. Like, yeah, there's a different class level in how they may act in their day-to-day lives, but the decisions they make and the results they have, they're still ending up being single moms. They're still ending up being divorced moms. Or not even divorced, choosing to file divorce moms or choosing an in relationship. Like, it's no different. The same results. May be done through different actions, but it's the same results through the men they pick and all these other different shits.
I do. I grew up in Jack and Jill.
Okay. But the sex is just that good, right?
Simple minded.
Not the sex.
Well, it can't be nothing else.
Listen to him, grown ass man speaking. There can't be nothing else. You don't know yourself. He don't know himself. What is there? There's nothing there but sex.
It can't be nothing else. You're talking to a grown man. It can't be nothing else. This dude ain't talk about on your level. You decide to go to the block and pull a dude to make some minimum wage. What else he got?
This one I didn't push my guy.
He got a lot of self-discovery to do. That's what he got.
This one I didn't.
Well, sadly, man, if you're being serious.
And the biggest thing right here, every time he like brings up a good point, she's trying to like bring up a like excuse or a reason to why it's not. She's done it about 2 or 3 times here, and she basically missed the point of what he's trying to say. Like, maybe this dude ain't from the block, but he not too much better than the block. You're not saying that just because you work minimum wage you're not good. I'm just saying, as far as potential, and when you talk about being on your level, when you talk about people being on the block at 725, person on the block be maybe making more than 725, but either way, it's not leading. It's a dead end job, either way. And to add on to the fact that he probably don't know himself at that age, like, but she's missing the overall point and overall message because she's being too literal.
I hope you're using lots of protection, because women like yourself end up as baby mamas, and then by 30 years old, after you got your second kid, you blame the men.
I don't want to do that.
Well, then, like I said, the woman I'm talking to right now is not mentally mature enough to be in a relationship with me. You need to grow up.
Okay. I'm for your advice, because you know what you're talking about. So I'm going to listen.
Well, what's your degree's in some sort of computer science or something like that, right?
No, actually, I'm a political science major.
What do you plan on doing with that degree? Going to law school?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Okay. Well, first thing I would say is, how tall are you?
4'11".
Dress size?
Size 8.
Huh?
8.
You look a little like you.
I have a round face. I have a pancake face.
I'm looking at your ankles and your fingers. I'm not looking.
Look at my fingers. You go on my page. Look at me on my page.
No, I'm good. I do this in real life. But what I'm saying is, focus on, 1, living a more fit life. 2, being around women and the kind and caliber of men that can help you get to the level of maturity you need to be. Because I don't understand what the disconnect is. But young lady, you're 20.
Yeah.
You are an adult. You're an adult, and you're making adult decisions. And every time you choose that,
she playing with fire right now. Like, that's the thing with women and men that's reckless. Like, you playing with fire at an early age, and you have so much more potential, and you can literally create a big anchor in your life that you're probably not ready for. Like, a kid could definitely boost a lot of people that's ready for a kid or mature enough to take it to 10 more levels than what they had been doing to get a kid. But a lot of people are not ready for that responsibility and end up being an anchor, and it usually leads to a lot of lack of loving your life as you get older, because it's just things that you wish you could have done that you weren't able to do. Because like I said, it was an anchor there. So she's playing with fire, and to not be looking for a potential husband at this age, like, it's dangerous because you're already giving yourself to men that's lower value. Like, women be like, oh, I need to test the field and shit like that. Like, it's not the same as you. You can't think like a man. And I would even say it for men, like, bro, you can't be just out here just getting STDs or shooting off on any type of woman because, like, you lead to having anchors. Like, it's not like that point in your life. Like, I'm trying to rethink how should people even be dating. Like, obviously, I would go back to a traditional mindset of, like, a woman really shouldn't be dating at all until she finds a suitable husband, and it's someone she potentially could take seriously, like, long term. And if that's not an option, you shouldn't be dating him. And you need to start at a young age and not when you're 30 and 40. That'd be the problem with it. When you do it young, when you're in shape, or you still have the propensity to get in shape, I think that's the word I could say. You have a better chance of, especially if you start off then looking for someone long term. If you're not looking for long term, then, like, that's when you lead in being a baby mama, or being in, like, having feelings for a person that you really shouldn't have feelings for because it really was nothing there in the first place. But now you had so much sex and so much love, a lust. You think it's love now, and now you're just in a dysfunctional relationship for, however long, and you lead to being unhappy and things like that. And I feel like if we're more, if we took dating more seriously as or at a younger age, and really taught it at a younger age, I think it'll be better. I'm not gonna say people are not gonna date multiple people or not gonna have options. I'm not gonna say that, like, that's irrational, but I think we could be taking it at a much smarter approach. Even if you do have options, let it be the best options it can be, and understand that you want to put yourself in the best place to be in those, to have those options. And for a man, unfortunate as it may be, like, a man can't look at taking a relationship serious until his mid-30s. A woman has the luxury of taking relationships serious in their early 20s, but they got to take it serious with the right men. A man really won't be in that situation to be his best version of himself to his late 30s. So it's tough for all men, even in that aspect. So women can say, oh, I want to be free and stuff like that, but it's not smart for your long-term success. And then for men, we might want to be in a long-term relationship because that's, like, stability we want when we're in unstable times. Like, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're in unstable times, so you would want some type of stability. Having a girlfriend could be that, but honestly, trying to maintain a relationship in unstable times is even more critical. So being single and not taking relationships so serious and taking yourself more serious in your 30s, it may suck because you maybe want consistency as a man, because some men do want consistency. Like, most men kind of would want some consistency, I would say that. But you got to wait till you're 30, 35. So you could say one end on it, like, oh, men can be free and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think it's by choice. I think it's by necessarily just being smart about your long-term success. Like, you shouldn't be trying to have, if you're too loose in your early 20s, you have a kid, bro, you're not ready to take care of that kid. You're not ready to start a family. Like, it's not productive to your long-term success. So a lot of things that we talk about why men could behave this way and why women should behave a certain way is, like, it's really more conducive to your lifestyle and long-term longevity being successful in a sense. So that's the reason why some of these rules and traditional things have kind of been in place, where, like I said, some of the things I already kind of laid out. And this is stuff that I learned from Kevin and learned from other people on YouTube. But when you think about it, it makes sense. It's not, oh, men put these rules on women. Like, why should we be wanting to get married this early? We should try to want to be free. But that freedom leads to you creating anchors in your life and connections in your life to men that you really shouldn't have been taking serious. And now you connected to this person. And if we talk about imprinting and stuff like that, we might have to get into a whole nother video on topic. Like, it's a lady on Facebook that I had that I found. If I could get on there, I'll break that video down too. And she talks about how easy it is when a man hits your bottom, he gets a hold of you, she said. And that's the truth. Like, a lot of women think, oh, this sex stuff is just for fun and games. Like, no, you can get hooked and entangled with a man that If you're not being smart, if you're not really sleeping with your best options, that really could put you in a bind with someone that's of lower status, whether you may be on the block because he meets your sexual needs or whatever, or he meets your egotistical needs or whatever, because you can stand on, he could pedestalize you because you the best he may ever get. And as a woman gets disgusted with that pretty fast. When a man constantly kissing your ass, like, it gets disgusting. A woman really likes to do the chasing, if we being real. But let's move
Yeah, and
on.
of course, with these people, you're risking pregnancy. And pregnancy is the least of your concern. STDs and all this other kind of stuff. Relationships are for adults, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, when you start talking about spending money and trip,
And for me, my bad. We about to be done, but he said for adults. A man's adulthood don't really start to the 30s, 35, because we still figuring a lot of things out in society. There's a lot of things that stacked up against us that we have to figure out, whether it's building through a society, whether it's building through corporations and trying to work your way through it. There's gonna be a lot of bumps and bumping your head on trying to figure out what you want to do. And like, for this young girl, she's 20. She may not reach adulthood of 28, 25, 25, 28. So, if we being honest, a lot of people should be chilling out throughout their 20s and not really going too serious in relationships and more focused on themselves. Like, that's kind of productive. Like, when we really being honest, we talk about you being an adult at 18. Like, that's the truth. Like, when you're 20, you start making adult decisions. You start trying to branch out and live on your own. But actually dating and taking people serious, like, it's too early in you getting fresh into society and trying to figure out what's happening in society, let alone be trying to be in a relationship. So it's a lot of different factors that are going to be playing into why your relationship may not work. So when we talk about adulthood and women being even in serious relationships or taking relationships serious, maybe they should be waiting at 25 too. That takes a lot of years off of your 20 through 28 range, or something like 20 through 30 range of you being in your prime of looks. But you just have to be careful, because it's like I said, with her mindset, she's not even gonna be able to be in a productive relationship. If she find a peer right now that she really cherishes and loves, like, is she really ready for that? Or is she gonna be childish in that relationship? Or is she gonna be insecure in that relationship? So it's a lot of things that's wrong with that. And same for a man. If a man gets a woman, isn't he gonna be insecure? Because he's like, man, I know I could be doing more. I know I could be, we could be going out more because that's what women want to do. I know I could be treating her better in a sense because that's what women want. And men want to take care of their women regardless of the woman standards. I mean, like, we just like to take care of our women. I mean, especially, good men. Um, and if we had enough money, we would do those things. So even in your own right, you could get insecure and be like, damn, I could be doing this, or I could have that. I wish I had this, I wish I had that. And you start putting more pressure on yourself faster than if you was by yourself and you was had your own expectations. But when you get somebody in a relationship, when you start having someone else you have to take care of or want to take care of, like, it put more pressure on you. It's just common sense. So yeah, waiting may be feasible for a lot of people in the sense of when you should start being serious in relationships and really start looking for a husband. 25, maybe 23 to 25, give her about 3 to 5 years of her starting to understand herself, her understanding men a little better, just being friends with them and stuff like that, and not being serious. I wouldn't just be sleeping around at that age, honestly. Like, honestly, it's deadly for women at that age because you get hooked with that man, and like I said, you're not really ready yet. You still, it's dangerous. And same for a man, like 25, a little too early. Maybe 30s when you should start really being serious, because trust me, man, this relationship game is weird and it's not for the novice. That's why I said being an adult, like, it's a lot of complex things that go into relationships, man. A lot of complex things. Things that's been problems for centuries, like, that people still haven't been able to figure out, from domestic violence and um, just whatever you say, toxic relationships or just not as productive relationships. People still been trying to figure out these problems for centuries, and relationships are a tough dynamic, man.
and travel and things like that, that's grown folks
Humans
stuff.
are finicky.
Right.
Pizza and movies and holding hands and necking is for kids.
Right.
So I think you know what you need to do. I think you just don't want to do that. But if you're gonna do it this way, spend your money, not your daddy's. How about that, though?
You're right.
But that's been it for this video, man. I said it was interesting because to see a girl like that, she doesn't think too much different than when you see a lot of these older women that get on her channel, on Kevin Samuels' channel, or when you think of some other women that's just outrageous and these IG models and stuff. They all think the same, whether she's average or an IG model. They all have this inflated mentality on themselves. So it's just interesting to see. Which I mean, she's doing well for herself as far as education. Now let's take care of her physical things, and then her mental dynamics and how to be in a relationship and a productive relationship as a woman. Like she learns all different things. She's gonna be able to put herself up and with a good man and find someone that she can marry. But she does have to do some work, even though I wouldn't say it's a lot, because working out. Like that's nothing when you're in high school. You ain't working all the time. You're already smart, so just going to work out a few times a day to attract the right person you want, bro. That's nothing. Do that for yourself because that's what you truly want anyway. So that's been it. It was a good conversation. It was a good video. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.